Welcome to week 84, book 84. This week it is Nicholas Nickleby, Charles Dickens' third novel. Now it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I've been reading quite a bit, so we're going to catch up with some today. What do we want to say about Nicholas Nickleby? It's his third novel, and really it is where he begins to expand both the plot driven kind of idea that we find in Oliver Twist, but also the more picaresque kind of approach that he took in Pickwick. What I mean by that is there are numerous subplots here. It is, I guess you call it Bildungsroman. It is a young man who is finding his way in the world, and it starts with Nicholas Nickleby's father basically having passed away. His family is left more or less destitute, and so they come to London to seek help from their rich uncle, Ralph. Well, so far so good, except as a lot of rich uncles in fiction, he is not a good person and not interested in helping anyone except himself. So Nicholas, his mother, and his sister Kate are given absolute minimal help. In fact, some of it is extremely harmful. Quote, help. Uh, Nicholas himself winds up in a Yorkshire school teaching. Now, Yorkshire schools were a phenomenon of the time period. They were schools that were uh, set up in Yorkshire for poor kids, and they're basically just completely abusive. And this is one of those sort of moments in Dickens that's very politically minded, where he is definitely describing a terrible phenomenon, these Yorkshire schools. And this school is all the kids are absolutely just impoverished. They eat minimally, and every single thing given to them by the school is begrudged by the author Wackford Squeers. What a name, Wackford Squeers. And um, he's one eyed, and his wife gives these kids this nasty formula to curb their appetite and make them nauseous, basically. And he steals all of their clothes and gives them rags to wear. And the instruction is minimal at best. Minimal would be a nice way to describe it. It's basically a holding pen for these kids. Um, for this boarding school, the kids are there year round. It's just an absolutely horrible, horrible, horrible place. Waxford beats the boys mercilessly, particularly one named Smike, who who seems to be sort of developmentally slow, uh, and he just abuses Smike. Come to find out that Smike is going to be an important character. Nicholas gets fed up with the school eventually, and when Squeers is beating on Smike, he beats Squeers and leaves with Smike. Now, this is kind of sort of borderline whether or not this is completely legal for him to do to take Smike. Um, but Waxford doesn't want to involve the police because he doesn't really want the police looking too much into his own business, which is kind of hideous and abusive. So that's where we begin. And this is a position that Nicholas got through Ralph, who happens to be a associate or a friend of Squeers. And well, one thing leads to another, and Nicholas comes back into London with Smike and gets set up in various things. He's kind of hiding out from Squeers because he beat him up, and he's kind of hiding, and he's afraid of the authorities. Um, and he doesn't really want Ralph's help. He finds out that Ralph has basically helped two rich gentlemen who owe him money to essentially just about abuse Kate. In fact, one of them, depending on how you read the moment, does in fact sexually assault her. She definitely is under extreme pressure from him, and exactly how physical it gets, well, this is a issue with Victorian literature, right? I mean, Dickens is not going to describe this fully, but it's implied that it may have gone a lot further than the text actually says, because through to Kate's traumatic response to it. Um, and anyway, things begin to progress. Nicholas goes off and works with a acting company for a while and tours around as an actor who is very good at. And that's what I'm talking about, sort of picaresque. It kind of wanders a little bit in the middle where he uh, doesn't have much direction and meets with these Crumleys or whatever they're called, and does the acting bit, and then eventually connects with the Cherubles, international traders. And the Cherubles are very, very, very nice people. They remember their humble origins. They're two brothers, bachelors for life, kind of older brothers, kind of thing. And they set up Nicholas as a clerk, and he does well. And then their nephew Frank falls in love with Kate, and so we have a good match for Kate as opposed to a horrible one. And everything turns out good in the end. Blah blah blah. Yay! And this is a good book. It's a little bit on the picaresque, clunky side in terms of plot, and which is to be expected still. Dickens is still learning the techniques of plotting. The Yorkshire School was a very real thing, and it really does, and this book really does address a real social ill at the time and was helpful in getting the thing shut down. So that's important to note that this is Dickens stepping in as a bit of a social voice for the first time, really. Yeah, sure, there's a little bit of that in Oliver Twist, but here's where he really steps in and steps up that game pretty significantly, dealing with this situation. Um, there's a lot of memorably horrible characters. Ralph Nickleby is a horrible uncle who tries to basically destroy his niece and his nephew, and is unable to do so. The two aristocrats, one learns that what he did was wrong and opposes the other one and is killed for his troubles, and the other one goes off overseas and lives a, I don't know, disparate life, and winds up completely broke, comes back and dies in debtor's prison in London. So they get their comeuppance, I suppose. Um, so what do you make of this? Well, it's Dickens learning his way. You know, it is a long book. Uh, almost 900 pages? Is that what it was? Yeah, 810 pages long. A long book. The middle bit was a little bit just sort of wandering. As usual, it's good writing. Dickens is a good writer, so it's good writing. It's a fun book. It's not his most celebrated, but an interesting book nonetheless. So if you want to see one of the early success at social justice and that kind of thing in Dickens, this is one to read. Um, and the situation with Kate is disturbing. I think it's meant to be disturbing. And the ultimate situation with Smike is also disturbing and really kind of melodramatic and silly. Smike turns out to be the abandoned son of Ralph Nickleby. And he gets sick and dies of tuberculosis. So we don't have to worry about this, this kid. He doesn't get the girl. He's in love with Kate, of course. He doesn't get the girl. He dies a nice, melodramatic death. And we find out, like I said, that he is Ralph's son. Uh, and Ralph goes to a bad end, too. So all the bad people are punished. All the good people survive, except for Smike, who is too innocent to survive. It reminds me a little bit of what Richardson's did with Clarissa in the 1740s. He couldn't allow the fallen woman to live, so he had her die an angel. And she was not fallen by the way, because she wanted to be. She was assaulted by Lovelace. So, I mean, I say fallen, I mean by their definition, not ours. Our definition, she is a victim and a survivor. Uh, but that's not how they saw it at the time. Anyway, but these kind of characters, the ones that are heavily abused in this kind of way, they have to die this angelic death so we can have sort of melancholy feelings for them and this kind of thing. And, appreciate justice in the afterworld, but also their abusers get justice in this world. Lovelace is killed in a duel, and I believe Ralph takes his own life. But yeah, good book. Long, not Dickens at his best, but good.